Hi, I'm George Wieland E. Molina, your teacher. I am here to teach you everything that you need to know about basic Adobe Photoshop. Lesson 1 is all about the introduction to Adobe Photoshop. With this, we will have a discussion about the definition of Adobe Photoshop, the history of Adobe Photoshop, as well as the different versions of it. At the end of the discussion, we'll have a short quiz. First, let us have the definition of Adobe Photoshop. Photoshop is Adobe's photo editing, image creation, and graphic design software. The software provides many image editing features for raster or pixel-based images, such as the simple images, as well as the vector graphics, the much advanced graphics, and it uses a layer-based editing system that enables image creation and altering with multiple overlays that supports transparency. Transparency is the idea in which the background cannot see. Layers can also act as masks or filters, altering underlying colors, and shadows and other effects can be added to each layers. Photoshop actions include automation features to reduce the need of repetitive tasks. There are several things that you can do using Photoshop. First, you can edit your own photo. You can even edit your family photos. You can combine pictures with text. You can even convert pictures to cartoons. You can even create your own business cards, love letters, and even your own customized websites. Photoshop is a very powerful tool. Before we start using Photoshop, let us first understand the history behind it. Photoshop is the most popular and profitable application that supports layers, filters, brushes, text, 3Ds, and even videos. Photoshop is mainly used for bitmap images and to do image manipulation tasks effectively and creatively. At the beginning, Photoshop was known as Display to show grayscale images on a monochrome display. In 1987, Thomas Knoll, a PhD student of the University of Michigan, found out that his Mach Plus computer failed to display grayscale images on a one big black and white display. To crack this advantage of Mach Plus, Thomas began coding a program that could eventually solve the problem. Then, his brother, Jean Knoll, who was in charge of the special effects department of the Industrial Lights and Magic for the first Star Wars movie, showed interest on the project. He recommended that it should be developed in a full image editing program. Hence, they named the program Display. The Knoll brothers then named Display to Image Pro. Image Pro can do many things. It can do rack card printing, and it wasn't the only advanced thing it could do. Image Pro had advanced features for displaying images. So by the year 1988, Knoll Brothers started to sell Image Pro commercially. And for this purpose, they renamed Image Pro Photoshop. The Knoll brothers approached many companies, but none of them were ready to purchase Photoshop as a product. By the year 1988, a deal was struck between the Knoll brothers and the Adobe company. All the wholesale rights of Photoshop were purchased by Adobe. The Knoll brothers started working on their product and released the first version of Photoshop. They named it Photoshop 1.0 by the year 1990. The development of the software started from the beginning, from Display to Image Pro to Photoshop. And from that moment, many versions have followed its predecessors. And up to the present, Photoshop still exists as one of the most convenient yet powerful tool for image editing creatively. There are different versions of Adobe Photoshop from beginning up to the present. Each version has its own particular name and a particular code name relative to its creators. Photoshop 1.0 is released on February 1990. It has a codename of Sura. Each features include color correction facility with balance of hue and saturation and image output optimization. It then followed by Photoshop 2.0, which was released year after, June 1991. It has a codename of Fast Edit. Each features has a slight changes like paths in which it furnishes with creation of lines-based drawing and thus it becomes easier in manipulating. Followed by the Photoshop 2.5, released on November 1992. It has its own code name which is Merlin Brimstone. Each features slight changes with palettes were introduced and 16-bit channel support. Followed by the Photoshop 3.0. 3.0 has the code name of Tiger Mountain. The features includes layers and tab palettes were introduced in these versions which become an easy process in manipulating images. Photoshop 3.0 is followed by Photoshop 4.0 released on the same month but of a different year, November 1996. It has its own unique code name of Big Electric Cat. The features has adjustment layers and macros were introduced in these versions. They were designed to as an interface as same like as the Adobe products. Followed by the Photoshop 5.0, which was released on May 1998. It has a code word or code name of Strange Cargo. It has the same code name with Photoshop 5.5. The features supports Macintosh and Windows only. Save Web Features was added as an extra feature to introduce in this version. Image slicing property was first time introduced and added rollover effects. The following year, Photoshop 6.0 was created. It has a release date of September 2000 with a code word or code name of Venus in Furs. The features include vector shapes, the introduction to vector shapes, liquify filters, layer styles, dialog box were added, and even the interface for users is updated. Then, Photoshop 7.0 was released by March 2002. It has its own unique code name of Liquid Sky. The features includes Healing Brush tool as an introduction to design text vectors, and Photoshop file browser was first time introduced on this version. Then, after Photoshop 7.0, it has its unique transition to Creative Suite or CS. It released Photoshop CS by the year 2003 of a month of October. It has its own unique code name of Dark Matter. Features include Camera Raw 2.0, highly modified slice tool, shadow and highlight command, and many things which considers colors. Followed by the Photoshop CS2, released on the April 2005. It has its unique code name of Space Monkey. Features is an updated version of the CS series, Camera Raw 3.0, Introduction to Smart Object, Image Warp, and Spot Healing Brush were introduced. Then, it was followed by the Photoshop CS3. CS3 is released on April 2007. It has a unique word of Red Pill. Features include black and white conversion adjustment, auto-align and auto-blend, smart non-destructive filters, mobile device graphic optimization was introduced, and furnishes native support for Intel-based Macintosh platforms. The following year, CS4 or Photoshop CS4 was introduced. It has a unique name of Stonehenge, released on April 2008. Features include new adjustment window, use of dodge and burn tool without affecting other areas, auto blend features, and content aware. The following year, Photoshop CS5 was introduced. Released on April 2010, it has a unique code word of White Rabbit. Features include advanced content-aware fill, intelligent selection technology, advanced HDR processing, improved raw processing, extended painting effects, localized warp tool, auto lens correction, workspace management, advanced 3D options, and 30 JDI additions. Then, Photoshop CS6 was introduced. Released on May 2012, it has a unique codename of Superstition. CS6 has the following features: autosave, background saving, camera raw 7, content aware patch, content aware move, redesigned user interface, revised vector tools, video tools including layers, colors, and exposure adjustment. Then, another transition from the Creative Suite series. From Creative Suite, it was converted to the Creative Cloud or CC. Photoshop CC was first released on June 2013. It has a unique codename of Lucky 7. Features include all new Smart Sharpen, Camera Raw 8.3, Camera Raw as filter, Camera Shake reduction, edited rounded rectangles, intelligent unsampling, link smart objects, share on Behance, and sync on preferences through the cloud or through the internet. Next is Photoshop CS 2014, released on June 2014. It has the longest codename of Single Malt Whiskey Cat. Features include content-aware tool improvement, focus mask, several task speed increases, smart object improvements, two new blur tools, which is the spin and the patch. Next is the 25th year anniversary edition, which is Photoshop CC 2015. It has a unique name of Dedication, as a dedication to the 25th year anniversary of Adobe Photoshop. It has features like ability for more than one layer style, added export, Adobe Stock, Camera Raw 9.1, design space for previews, enhanced export options, new library capabilities and file linking, and an updated user interface which is much darker. Followed by the Photoshop CC 2015.5, released on June 2016. It has a name of or code name of Haiku. Features include Adobe Portfolio, content-aware tool cropping, export improvement, selection and masking space, updated library panel functionality and integration, and it has a unique interface. Followed by the Photoshop CC 2017 with a unique codename of Big Rig. Big Rig has its own unique features such as scratch disk size error, the last used group tool is forgotten after using the move tool, patches for some vulnerabilities, and various other bugs fixes. It also has a unique user interface. It follows by Photoshop CC 2018 and 2019. If we can see, from Image Pro up to Photoshop, it has certain developments to which the technology of digital graphic designing also improves. The innovations of Photoshop from version 1 up to the current version also innovates as technology goes. There are different factors that affects image editing. One factor of it is using versions to another. There are several versions that cannot do features from other versions. There are also advanced things that modern versions of Photoshop can be done. But in most cases, basically, what we can understand is, as the technology of Photoshop advance, our hardware, such as our laptop, our cell phones, our computers, must also be in advance. You cannot simply install a higher version of Photoshop into a low processing computer. As much as possible, you can always rely on installing a um, stable driver of Photoshop to which you can use. I hope you learned something from our discussion. From the beginning of Photoshop, its definition, the history, people involved in the creation of Photoshop, as well as the different versions. After our discussion, I will provide you with some quiz that you can answer. Thank you very much.